the truth profoundly. These are Germans here. For me to the message clear. Go Paul, Das, and Paul. They say Duane the writer leads the way. Time to madness, it's blight. Gotta wake up, see the light.
One day I was in should I say in a vision or a dream where I was being
It's a dream
chased
vision.
by this. Yeah, I was being chased by a lizard, and well, I kept flapping my wings and moving as fast as I could until I fell into a container placed by a child, a human child, who were trying to fly a kite. And as that happened, well, many things kept running in my mind. Kept asking myself what tragedy is coming up and how to face it in reality. And before I could know, a young lady came my way and took up the container, which I was able to fly out ASAP as soon as possible because I don't want to get myself broken, like some toy or some bug being squashed, you know. And after that, I realized it was not real. I got so panicked, my heart almost pumped out from all my trachea, from my joints. And I had to share this narrative with people who say they're not sure, but it was not something good. And that was like a week before the fire outbreak around California, LA, and environs. I don't know if that is actually or really a message, but that was the beginning of my fears and worries. And today, it was so devastating how the fire got many of us out, made many humans especially, and killed many bugs, homeless and killed many bugs. It's still difficult to grip with, and I'm still battling with that consciousness in such a way. But that's the little I have for now, but I'm still working on one or two, you know.
Sum up your experience so that Duane can understand it, and he'll tell you what it means.
Oh, okay. Okay. I've got various experiences in my tiny little years, and some of which are linked to, should I call it bullying by humans or should I call it discrimination? There was this little time where I was flying through a park and a child kept chasing after me with some basket or netty kind of material, trying to squash and calling me a bug. It wasn't pleasant at all. And on the other hand, I collided with a moving truck while trying to cross a highway. But thank God I was safe and sound, and I had to go warn others from the colony not to do so. This experience got me thinking when a bee, a man, or any other life on earth dies, what really happens after that death? Do we have any kind of um, a life archive or any kind of storage room for our presence, our consciousness, or we just poof, as if we're not living things and just expire. So it kind of makes me feel inquisitive sometimes. I feel sometimes I panic over it. And I wish I had someone who can give me an enlightenment sometimes about some of these things. So these experiences actually makes me feel incomplete because I have no idea about the afterlife. This is for now, that's all I can remember or say. You there, Eric?
Barry's a bee, right? And he was getting chased around by a child who had this plastic box and was trying to trap him and or step on him and was calling him a bug. The child was kind of being an asshole, basically. And then
I was almost,
something about a fire.
yeah, that part also got me scared. And then the truck part that almost squashed me in its windshield.
Okay, so that's it. That's the basic idea. Some kid was chasing him, trying to put him in a box, and he was a bee.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very simple. The child is your personal self that you created. The bee represents your real awareness. The child is not understanding what's going on. That's your personal self. And so you have to take a look at your personal self and how you're seeing things. Because the child is trying to, well, it's not consciously doing it, but it's actually it's keeping you, in other words, it's trying to, it's not really trying to capture you, even though it's trying to do that. It's kind of like it's trying to shut you up. This is how the personal self works because it doesn't understand the real awareness. See, just like parents, they create a child. And eventually the children get annoyed with the parents because they're given orders all the time. Do this, do that, whatever. And so at a certain point, the child rebels against the parent. So this is your child that you've created. That's your personal self. That's the Lord Benson or whatever character you want to call yourself. And so the real you is trying to, have you might say a communication or an understanding, but the child wants its own way. So again, this is where you, the personal self, have been educated in this world. You've been literalized into your routines, your business, whatever it is, and you want things your way. And this is how children are with their parents, especially as they get older, as they get into teenagers and whatever. They want to decide for the parents. And so they will use different ways to do that. Even intimidate the parents into getting their own way. So the personal self is a real wrestle for the longest time until you, the real awareness, you might say, can manage the personal self to help you become more aware and recognize the real you. That's a lot.
Oh, he was saying that it's like how in the hive that he lives in, because he's a bee. It's like the queen giving orders, because it's like computer programming in them that they have to follow the queen's orders. Am I understanding right, Barry?
Yeah. You have to follow each and every order given without mistakes. So does it kind of relate to what the child wants to do to me, or there is another obvious reality behind it?
Well, this takes time, Mr. Benson. I told Eric and Phil 50 years. Okay, so it's just like, let's say you're going to become a doctor. Okay, so You come into this life, you go through school, you go through high school. That's basically 12 years. Then you go to college. What's that, 3 or 4 years? Then you go to university, another 4 or 5 years. You go to medical school, another 5, 6 years. That's a lot of years, isn't it? So now what you're doing is your challenge is to start to recognize the real you and then what all life is. So, gee, becoming a doctor is really very easy compared to this. So it's a step at a time in that direction, just like a tree growing. You plant the seed, but it doesn't grow overnight. You know, you want an oak tree, it's going to take 100 years. Yeah, it's a cell at a time, cell by cell by cell, the tree grows. And so this too. Again, we have been raised in a literal world, not a natural world. Look at the Indians and the indigenous people. They were intuitive with the all natural environment where people today aren't. They are programmed by institutions run by world controllers. There's a total difference. So now you have the challenge not only of yourself to deal with, but the world itself and how it's bombarded you, and you're in the world consciousness, which is actually in demise. It's a created, imploding demise. Even though people think it's progressing, it's actually destroying itself. It's all imploding. But most people can't see that because they're only in their own minds thinking that, oh, I'm doing better. I just got a raise today at my job. But not realizing that the entire world is poisoned and it becomes more poisoned every day, radiated, etc. All your food is plastic, etc. And so again, time to face it and get real, or just go into future lifetimes of more unawareness. Your choice.
Yeah.
But it's a step at a time, Mr. Benson. This is a big step. And most people think, well, gee, I'm spiritual, I'm religious, I believe in God. Those are all things created in creation. The reptilians created all of that. It has nothing to do with what life is. Just like the air you breathe, has nothing to do with that. That's all made up stuff. Those are ideas that you've been told, rumors and stories since you've been here. And now I'm showing you how to get to the real side, to see the real side of it, so that you can succeed past all the restrictions. But most people want to stick with their ideas that they've grown up with. That's fine. You can stick with them as long as you want. Everything's okay. I
Penny,
suggest read some of my books, and it will explain a lot of this and the images that I have too. I have Skypes all over the world. So also since I was 18 years old, I was in the International Secret Service all over the world, and I've been to other planets too, from Area 51, etc. So again, I know what the governments of the world are doing, the politicians, etc., and it's not good. It's all demise. Yeah, it looks good, but it's all nonsense. What was your question?
You said evil reptilians? Is that what you said?
I referred to the reptilians, yes. Shapeshifters rule this planet. It's a human farming planet.
well, I think I agree with Mr. Duane when he laid emphasis on reptilians.
Okay, listen. Shut the fuck up. No,
Okay.
there's no evil reptilians farming people. You're out of your mind.
Clearly, Mr. Duane does say reptilians are evil. Well, I came across a story that I just read some days ago in a big book they called a Bible. And it was shocking to me in how a reptile without legs could seemingly create a partial awareness to entice a full-grown human to take a fruit she wasn't supposed to take. Now, I think that has something to do with what Mr. Duane is referring to. And also, we've watched movies of aliens looking like reptiles over and over again. And humans have been searching for any form of alien lives across the universe and galaxies and, whatever. And I don't think it's either for the records of evil, but I think Mr. Duane is just trying to point out how the governments and the rules of the mortal world is being conducted to run in the ways of which they choose to narrate it. Maybe something like that.
So what you're saying is it's more like a metaphor. I remember hearing about that in English class, a metaphor. It's like, it's not actually reptilians. It's like just like people who are doing things that are bad. I'm a little confused because if you're talking about actual evil reptiles that are shapeshifters, you're out of your mind. But I mean, if you're just making a metaphor, I guess.
Well, I don't know what metaphor is, but Eric once told me metaphorical phrases or clause has to do with making something that is not to be like it is. But if that's where you're going to, I agree.
Bro, don't
Yes,
drag me into this.
because let's say that we live in a world where events and occurrences shape how we reason and think.
Well, Penelope said that the evil reptilians aren't real, and Barry said that no, they are because they're in the Bible.
They're all over the place. So you just don't see them.
Well, yeah, because they're shapeshifters. I'm actually, I used to be a reptilian myself. I've been trying to learn how to shapeshift, but I haven't really gotten anywhere yet. I've been trying to find, like, YouTube tutorials, and none of them really worked.
And I think there is no need to question it because it's all over the place. I mean, looking at common instances and occurrences that have happened in my tiny little years, I know that he's just trying to help us become who we are supposed to be. To that, it's either you succumb to it or you just have to live in your illusion of life. So Miss Penny or Mrs. Penny, or I don't know your pronouns, sorry about that, you should just reason along and try to see a way to balance the situation.
These are merely body types. Okay, so we have what is called a human body type. Fine, whatever you want to call it, we call it human. And these are just merely different body types that we reference. The real awareness is operating it just like a car. You can drive a truck, you can drive a Porsche, you can drive a Buick, whatever. There's a different body types that you can drive. And your real awareness drives these different body types. It just depends upon the experience that you choose. And so for this lifetime, you've chosen the body type and the position that you want to be in for your experience right now in creation and getting through the process of creation. And in the meantime, there's all kinds of things going on. And so if you look at how you've been raised, go back as far as you can remember when you were a little child and look at the stories and rumors that you were told. Now, you didn't verify these things at all. There was no evidence of them, really. It's just that your parents and others and the authorities told you stories and rumors because they wanted you to think like they do and think a particular way, especially the authorities. That's why they created schools. They wanted to program you to think a particular way. So when new experiences come around to you, and usually from the real side, you'll start seeing them, but you'll think that they're nightmares or whatever. But actually, they're not. And so you have multidimensional experiences, but for the most part, you don't pay attention to those. You're a surface world person. You're one-dimensional. And this is how you've been taught. You haven't been taught multidimensional. because there are almost seemingly endless dimensions in creation itself, and creation is self-limiting because it's cause and effect. Creation is actually a production of agitation to wake you up to your real awareness, which is in a position of endless freeness. And so this is really cool, but it's a huge process to get through that. So in the meantime, you've created this personal self. Everyone's created their personal self. Just like as you were a child and you grew up, you created your own consciousness. You created your own identity as to who you are, who you think you are, what others think you are, and you've accepted all these ideas. And that's fine. It doesn't matter. It's your choice. It's your life. And as you go along with these ideas, when other ideas come along, well, the personal self, for the most part, usually doesn't want to agree with new experiences. It just wants to agree with its own experiences and its own ideas. But once you learn to see beyond yourself, you see that there's more than just your personal self. But again, most people are only interested in their personal self, so they use the ideas of, oh, I don't believe that. Because you've been taught the idea of belief to believe or not believe. And again, that's an idea. It's not a reality. So when you look at the sun shining, is there belief there? Is there happiness? Is there love? No, there's not. Look at the air that supports you. In 2 minutes without the air, you're nothing. But do you ever think of the air every day? No, you don't at all. And the air's all poison. It's purposely poison. You got chemtrails, you got Wi-Fi, you got GMO food, you got exhaust from cars, etc. The whole place is poisoned in the last 100 years or so. But no, most people don't really care or think about it. You're only going to last 2 minutes without real air, and it's being poisoned every single day. Who cares? Who's paying attention? So again, you're told stories and rumors, and your attention is more on that than really taking a look at what's really going on. And so all of a sudden, the lifetime ends, and you go into another one and another one and another one, and you continue to do that until eventually you decide to wake up from all of it. And that's where you are now. So you have this opportunity to decide, but it's up to you. So you can believe whatever you want, but the whole of life has nothing to do with belief. All life is awareness. It's about awareness. It's not about belief or idea.
All life is awareness.
Yeah. It's not about belief or ideas. These are things that are created in creation. Isn't it? So just like the air you breathe, it's indifferent to no matter what you decide. You can decide whatever you want. The air doesn't care. The sun's shining. It doesn't care. But it is something that you're not aware of. So the actuality of life is what you don't know. It's not about what you do know, because everything you know is restriction. And you've encapsulated yourself, just like Mr. Benson's experience. It's showing him dealing with his personal self. But of course, you haven't recognized the real you, so you wouldn't understand what that means. And so this is where Eric asked me to tell him my experiences. Well, I can, but he's not going to understand it because he hasn't recognized his real awareness. He knows what's in his mind, but that's all made up. Everything that's in your mind.
Yeah, but I have a big brain.
You made it up. Yeah, well, you're the big brain and you made it up. That's your world and that's it. It's all make-believe, Eric. You made it up.
No, do you? Do you? Do you? Do you?
Crew, we gather round real vibes, bring the truth, perfect. family feast of Germans here. For me to the message clear. Go Paul, Das and Paul, they say Duane the writer leads the way. Time to madness, it's blight. Gotta wake up, see the light. Don't think, just feel the vibe. The sons are gotta concentrate. Break the chains, the mental hold. Truth unfold, the storms are guide. A cosmic drive. Break the chains, the mental hold. The truth unfold, the story told. We strong, now unite front. Against the darkness we will hunt. Time to break the simulation spell with new you power. We are skibidi new you. Breaking free from the matrix. Dark forces lurking, reptilian scheme. Top lies that control a twisted dream. You together we rise above, shattering the lies, spreading risky. I knew you staring at the thing to be done. Staring at the sun, the only thing to be done.